Team Gravity presents Fight Night.
Y'all ready for this?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Team Gravity's Fight Night number 30. And of course, 30 means that we have done this at least one other time in this year. And of course, I'm Cyber. Joined is Drenak. A big thank you for sticking around and not leaving during the break. I don't know that that's ever happened, but thanks for doing it, Drenak. How are you doing? How was your break?
It was a quite dandy break. You know, I got to have some one-on-one time with our observer Hawkeye and really just got to know his picture. He's got a nice Skype profile picture, but it was pretty good. How was your little break when you just left? No one knows what you did, but
it was pretty darn good. I played some Cardstone in secret. I don't want anyone to know. Actually, I've never actually played Hearthstone. My roommate has, and he's like, "Hey, it's super fun. You should play it." And I'm like, but that takes time, and I would have to install it, and that's way too much effort.
You gotta click install.
That's a lot of effort. I already have StarCraft 2 installed. I can go in and just have Scott be like, "Hey, you want to cast some awesome games?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll show up and cast some games." And then I get to cast PiLiPiLi and ElhayM, which is kind of cool because I don't know if you follow the tournament Breaking Out or the show, but both of these guys were actually in the previous season of Breaking Out, and they both actually lost out in their respective groups in the tournament. They both lost out in their group, so they ended up losing in the round of 8, which is kind of sad, but we get kind of a rematch of Breaking Out cast-offs.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I don't know if we had the intro to this, or was that played beforehand?
That was indeed played beforehand,
that was before
you hack.
Okay. Well, he started counting down, and I was like, "What's he counting down to?" I don't get this. But yeah, you're correct. It will be a bit of a rematch here between the Protoss player and the Terran, quote unquote
rematch. Yeah.
Rematch. It's going to be a best of 5. Winner gets $10. And by the way, guys, if you're on Team Liquid right now, please head over to Hitbox just so we can directly suck your brains out and get those views from you. It's true.
Top 10 pulls, MA. Excellent. Yes. But yeah, guys, we've got the Hitbox features. You've got gifts in chats, custom emoticons. You can support Team Gravity Fight Night by following or subscribing. And of course, you can vote in the chat as well. But we're going to be kicking it off into game number 1 of our second best of 5. Up in the top left-hand corner of Terraform from Flipside Tactics, this is ElhayM.
And his Protoss opponent in the bottom right-hand corner, previously on Red Bloods, now on Money. It is the Red Protoss player, PiLiPiLi. Money.
I wonder if that's actually a clan or if that's just one of those joke tags that players put in their names.
I don't think he's in any team or clan at the moment, sadly.
No. I would expect not, but sometimes players have jokey clans where it's them and 3 or 4 friends.
Yeah. It's he's got, what has he got? He's got Blizz Please Hire Us on NA is his clan tag.
Exactly. See? You got all the jokey clans that you have to keep track of. They're far more important than legitimate teams, please.
Definitely. Money. But guys, the man who does have an actual team and quite a cool team, Flipside Tactics, ElhayM, is doing just a Reaper expand. Nothing too out of the meta, playing it safe. This is game 1. But as you were mentioning, Cyber, they have played before in the Breakout Invitational hosted by Fear Dragon, but I'm kind of curious what they noticed about each other besides that. How they played against each other. They're both good players and have been in the scene for roughly the same amount of time.
Well, that's the thing about being in the Breakout Invitational is you get the show Breaking Out just before that, where you can learn a ton about the other players. So maybe they learned a bit from that. Maybe they forgot absolutely everything. But I'm going to take a wild guess, that these two guys have played each other on ladder before. so they're probably relatively familiar with each other that way, because PiLiPiLi, he is indeed living in America, at least right now. So Canadian versus an American, they're probably playing on the same server. Reaper is going to be heading on out, but it's the reactor after that, so it's not anything weird. No one really goes like multi-Reaper versus Protoss. No one's done that for a long time.
Sometimes you'll see that cheese. It's them just going mass Reaper, but no, you are correct. Now it's a mass Hellion, something like that, using the Reaper, or you just throw the reactor on the racks and like, I'm gonna have a ton of Marines. Generally, we have seen the kind of counterintuitive. It works well versus Zerg. Why not Protoss? They didn't expect it, but they now do expect it. It's just meta.
Hey, I'm gonna do this thing that nobody does. Oh, hey, I lost with it. Maybe that's why nobody does it.
Yeah,
quite possibly.
Actually, a lot of people do Hellion push. I mean, that's pretty standard in PvT.
Oh, I was still on the multi-Reaper thing. But anyways,
okay.
As you did mention, we got the factory coming in. We got the additional command center coming in. Nothing really wild. We're shaping ourselves up towards that 2-base 1-1-1 build, and it's PvT. There's lots of, salt-inducing things that can happen from both sides. We got the Twilight Council coming in. Potentially some Blink salt. We got some Widowmine salt that could happen. There's so much salt possibilities in this matchup.
Stalker salt, Zealot salt, Immortal salt, so much salt. No?
I don't think that's the kind of salt that we want.
That was totally the type of salt that you wanted. I know what you want.
All right.
Cyber, don't.
I'm so glad that he's going Widowmines now.
Yeah, it's good you said that. But yeah. It is the pretty standard Widowmine drop. But PiLiPiLi is going for that Blink play, which we're seeing more and more often just as an opener, whether it be for offensive or defensive, you can kind of choose, but often in the Korean and European scene where PiLiPiLi, actually, he plays a lot on NA.
Oh, that Stalker stepped into the wrong neighborhood, sucker. He's going to have to run his little legs the other direction.
He will have to do that, and hopefully he'll stay alive, because like I was just saying, though, much more common for the defensive, and don't stay in the line of sight blockers, move! Oh! Those Marines, feel good about themselves, yeah, we did that.
ElhayM with his almost fancy control. He is going to be not losing any Marines thus far. This damage spread is incredible, if that's what PiLiPiLi was trying to do. He's, almost killed several Marines, but not quite been able to finish them off just yet.
I've almost won several StarCraft games. Almost. That's kind of the same thing. At least now, PiLiPiLi will be able to get Blink. He's only about 20 to 30 seconds. Actually, he's about 40 seconds away. But with Blink, he will start to be able to utilize that damage spread, as you mentioned, Cybert. And maybe damage spread on himself, but he should be able to pick him off. Looks like it's going to be a drop, though, from ElhayM. And with a Widowmine. Sadly, the Observer is already there and prepared.
Sadly, maybe from your perspective, but of course, lots of Protoss players are like, no, I don't want to get Widowmine.
I am a Protoss player. I'm trying to be unbiased here.
Oh, the Widowmine actually goes down inside of the medvac. Nice targeting down there by the Stalkers. Every single one of those Marines gets cleaned up. Hellions, but no, they're not doing anything. They're literally just sitting there. This attack is falling to pieces. ElhayM going from a potential aggressive position into the I have no idea what to do with these units position.
Yep, and the Hellions will have to just kind of be pushed to the side here. And off the back of this, PiLiPiLi is on the aggression. He's got a proxy pylon down, Stalker's moving in, and this is the time for ElhayM to move in again, but just gotta wait for that Photon Overcharge to wear off.
Hellions potentially going to be sneaking back on in. There's only 3 of them here, but the majority of the Stalkers are on the opposite side of the map. One thing that we didn't see pretty much all series long from our previous Protoss player, going to be that robotics bay coming in, potentially for those Colossi. Well, I don't know what else he would be doing with it. Stalkers into the main base. They blink. Going to be targeting down, I guess, yeah, technically. Going to be targeting down the reactor on the starport. They could also get stim. That would be a huge focus, as we actually do have a tank coming out. All right,
and that one tank right there saves the day. Actually, the Marines did, drawing the fire of the Stalkers, and now SCVs are actually healing that tech lab. That is just how important it is. Now, there's a tank for ElhayM, but there is Blink for PiLiPiLi and an Observer on the high ground. This is going to prove interesting how PiLiPiLi is going to deal with it. I'm a little bit worried for ElhayM here. He does not have a bunker on the high ground, but looks like PiLiPiLi is saying, you know what, 2/3 your army on the high ground, I go for your natural.
Those SCVs just now going to start repairing. It's a little bit too late, as there's the stem forward from ElhayM. He's got the tank on the high ground to also do that damage. PiLiPiLi was one of those guys who was known for a lot of 2-base all-ins, and then he tried to transition out of 2-base all-ins into more macro sort of plays. Has he gone back towards that 2-base all-in? I was thinking it was going to be more macro. I mean, he added on the additional forges. He's getting this Colossi, but this aggression, he hasn't really put it on too hard, so he certainly could still transition out.
Yeah, he has been warping in Stalkers, but he hasn't warped in an insane amount of Stalkers that you could have at this moment. Just trying to keep his aggression alive. Not only that, but these proxy pylons all across the map are just going to provide for more sustainable harassment and straight-up scouting. Right now, PiLiPiLi knows his opponent is pretty much on the defensive. Maybe he will move out, though, soon. He does have a nice Marauder force, and there's the... oh, there it is. Spotted by the pylon.
Very nice, those pylons. So annoying. When you're flying your drop over, you're like, I'm going to go do a sneaky cool drop like all the Terrans do. And then you just get spotted 12 times, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I'll turn around. He's going to be splitting off. He's going to be splitting off.
Then you unload one Marine, and you're like, yeah.
I totally meant to do that. He's going to be trying to clean up these proxy pylons. Stalkers jumping forward. They clean up one Marine. And these Stalkers, they're not quite softened up. They've been able to regen their shields. So while they do have some loss of hit points, they do still have those shields to keep them alive. No third base from PiLiPiLi for now. He added on the gateways a couple of moments ago. And he's, of course, been cranking out Colossi almost non-stop.
This is what's so beautiful about the Protoss Stalker play and being aggressive earlier on. And the good players at home, they're building up those big tech units to join the army, but actually there's a drop in the back of PiLiPiLi's main base, which those tech units will not be prepared for, and there's a big warp in, but ElhayM gets a pylon, is like, yep, I did that. That was me.
I got the pylon. Stalkers jump forward, clean up the medevac, easy peasy on the high ground. An additional Stalker and Zealots just awkwardly standing there. 3 tanks mixed in with this Marauder Marine force. And there's a scan to reveal, oh, that is a scary army.
That is a very scary army, at least for ElhayM right now, because, I mean, he's got concussive shells with this. It's really going to come down to the micro, though, of these Stalkers and the Colossi here. They do have a very nice arc of attack and just obliterate that. I thought that was going to go decently for ElhayM, actually.
You'd kind of think that siege tanks are, like, pretty good units, but... yeah, they seem to not do anything. Like, I've seen some players who kind of specialize in just going mech, and then they get just wrecked by, you know, like lower level Protoss players, and it's like, tanks just seem to not be very good versus Protoss. Stemmed Bio loaded up into medevacs can be fantastic versus Protoss. ElhayM going to be splitting off 3 medevacs to the south side of the map, and these Zealots may actually, kind of coincidentally, intercept that, vision-wise.
Yeah, actually, right now, PiLiPiLi's just view of the map is fantastic. He knows his third base is about to get hit, but not the main base. Where, as you were mentioning, there is these 3 medevacs going for it. I think those are the ones you were talking about, at least. We'll have to see. Yep, 3 medevacs boosting in, and PiLiPiLi's on the complete other side of the map. Mothership Core is not with the main army, so he's going to have to pull back, or this is potentially a doom drop. At the same time, ElhayM is pushing PiLiPiLi back into his third.
Yeah, the Stalkers turning around to try to deal with the main, actually going to be getting cleaned up in the north, as that's a little bit unfortunate about just controlling your entire army like that. One Zealot warped in to try to deal with this attack, as up at the third, the Marine Marauder has been pushed back. Goodbye, Nexus. I hope you didn't need that anymore, and even this Colossi goes down. He could jump forward onto the other Colossi if he really wants to try to take that down. Couple of force fields going down to try to section off these Marauders, and PiLi has held. He's got his third base up and running, but losing that main Nexus. Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, Cyber, he has held, but as a Protoss player myself, I know that feeling where you just feel like, okay, I'm getting pulled apart. He's got to be super careful. He needs to know when he's got to go for it. He's got to attack his opponent. Thankfully for PiLiPiLi, though, ElhayM is not taking a third base in his long-distance mining. For now, at least, PiLiPiLi, I mean, he's got to be so careful. Another drop like that is going to take out his production.
Up near the third, another group of Stalkers going to be trying to deal with a couple of medevacs loaded up with those Marines and Marauders. You mentioned the third base. It is extremely late in comparison to where, well, I guess, 5 minutes delayed, however you want to look at that for the Terran player. So definitely a lot later than we would be seeing in other games. The trade-off, of course, the bigger army trying to do that damage, and it kind of has paid off. Now into the natural go these brethren, as there is a Colossi here to try to deal with this attack. It does step backwards. The gentle micro from PiLiPiLi blocking off the units with Zealots, while over near the natural of our friend ElhayM, he's going to be having to deal with this actual attack of PiLiPiLi, as PiLiPiLi going to be crushing on forward, sniping medevac after medevac. GG! PiLiPiLi takes game number 1 in commanding fashion with that final counter-attack.
And as you mentioned, tanks just don't seem to be quite as good. What ElhayM was relying off there to defend the natural base was the tanks, and I didn't see anything die to them. We'll just put it that way. Even without Immortals.
I feel like we see this every once in a while, and it's like, Widow Mines do so much better. Like, you have that chance of Widow Mines just splashing down your entire army, you're as Terran. Like, you have that chance. But every time I see siege tanks in a game for Terran versus Protoss, I feel like they never work out.
Yeah. The only time I feel like they really work out well, Cyber, is when it's a big doom drop, and now you're kind of locked out of your main base because of the siege tanks, and then it's kind of awkward, like, you're on my production, what do I do? But we didn't quite see that happen yet. ElhayM put a fantastic game on, was very aggressive, and honestly, he got a lot of damage done, and for a second there, like I was mentioning, as a Protoss player, PiLiPiLi's got to be careful. He can't let himself get too stretched thin, but he knew when he needed to go for the attack and just went for it.
So ElhayM, I feel like that first game, maybe there were some nerves, maybe there were some either just parts of his attack that he kind of forgot or whatever, because we saw kind of early on one of his medevacs getting sniped, his attack falling to pieces, his Hellions not doing as much as he would have liked, and now in game number 2, he can kind of slide that first game away and be like, all right, I'm going to turn up the damage right here, right now, because certainly I feel like ElhayM can put on much better games than we saw in game number 1, which had his strong points, as you mentioned. Once he turned up that notch, he actually was putting on the aggression, doing fantastically, and then, kind of fell apart because he didn't have the units to defend the counterattack. But that aside, game number 2 on Cactus Valley is an opportunity for ElhayM to turn that around.
Yeah, definitely. It is up to him to turn it around. This is a best of 5. You need 3 wins, so he's still got a lot of wiggle room to try to take these $10 home and hopefully feed himself. Get some, last night I was casting ASL and Arthur was like, I'm going to go get some chicken with this tournament winnings.
Ooh, hopefully. Spoiler alert. I was going to stay up tonight and watch the ASL VODs.
Oh, you were?
No,
Are you serious?
But
I was like, wow, you just, I feel bad now. Like, that was,
no worries.
Arthur took it, though, quite impressively, and after he went out and bought chicken.
So will our friend PiLiPiLi be able to kind of harness those Arthur powers to defeat ElhayM? Well, maybe. We'll be finding out in Cactus Valley. Up in the top right-hand corner, this man, he needs your cheers. He's down 0-1 in this best of 5 series, representing Flipside Tactics, our Terran brother. This is ElhayM.
And his opponent, favoring, I guess, the kind of Protoss death ball instead of the gateway like our previously Protoss player. It is the red Protoss player. In the bottom right, PiLiPiLi from Money.
I
feel like this is the H.
This
is the H. It's money.
He's looking for some of that money to, of course, add to his bankroll.
Whoa. That's not the word. It's money.
Actually, I'm thinking back. One of the first Fight Night series that I ended up casting was PiLiPiLi versus Gosu User. And PiLiPiLi 2-0'd Gosu User, and then Gosu User was like, no! And he just 3-0'd PiLiPiLi from there. But it was like, PiLiPiLi was looking terrifying, so ElhayM, maybe if he gets 2-0'd, and he's gonna be like, no! I'm gonna turn it up, and he's gonna just slaughter PiLiPiLi.
No.
We'll see.
Is that I feel like there's the voice of the viewer that we do, and then the voice of the player, and yours is no. That's how ElhayM talks. No, not at all.
Actually, I have seen interviews with him, so I probably should know how he speaks.
Okay.
Ooh, double gas
idea.
actually going to be coming out. So that's actually a big departure for PiLiPiLi compared to how we opened that previous game, where it was 13 gate, 14 gas, 17 cyber, 21 nexus. Very standard vanilla. Getting that second gas that quickly certainly changes things.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be a Stargate play out of PiLiPiLi. Now, if he was in the top left-hand corner, that would be the best, but still, it's going to be pretty good with his level of micro. And I also got to say, Cybert, that as a Protoss player myself, I don't think I could have, like, hammered off that build order right off the bat. Like, I can do it out of instinct, but not actually tell you 21 next, like, whatever you just said there.
It's all about taking those notes. That's my secret.
Hey, you want to see my notes?
No,
Oh, okay.
But
have you seen my
Stargate.
sheets of notes?
You were doing that whole talking thing that you do, and I was thinking back, completely ignoring you. No, I'm just kidding. I was listening, but I was thinking back to the Breakout Invitational, where the nickname of ElhayM was actually the Beatbox Terran, because he likes dropping
The
beats.
beat.
So
he likes
kind of
dropping. I like it.
Exactly. The interesting thing with the way the spawns are bringing in, you kind of mentioned the spawn positions earlier, is we have the line drawn from ElhayM. He goes through his natural all the way into the main base of PiLiPiLi. Potentially, those drops will indeed do him some justice, being able to drop directly into the main base like that.
Yep, hitting on the side of the base instead of the front, where generally your gateways or your barracks are a little bit better. Thankfully for PiLiPiLi, or not thankfully, but thankfully I guess for ElhayM, he's not in the top left. And his Reaper did a little bit of damage. Didn't get a kill. Actually, only got one kill, but it knows something is up. It says, your base is not a Protoss base. It's a Protoss base with something out on the map.
It's not a Protoss base. Anyways, the Oracle...
I think you found that too funny.
I probably... You're a silly guy, Drennick. You're a silly guy, and you're all right in my book, as we got the additional racks going to be coming on in. This is definitely a little bit of a departure from the previous game, as it is just single racks. The engineering bay does provide some of those defensive options for ElhayM to try to deal with this Oracle, although it only really works if you engage around... Oh my word, what is this Oracle even doing? It just... The Marines aren't doing anything. I don't actually know what's going on with ElhayM.
Yeah. The Marines will get to the missile turrets, but they only 2 of them actually got there, so
yeah, they all died.
Kind of failed. Natural base is at jeopardy. Now, I really want to put this to the test. I know that an Oracle can kill any building if it has 100% energy, so I'd love to see it, like, it can kill anything but Hive, actually, but I'd love to see it move in and just, like, take out the orbital command. One Oracle, he's got to feel great about himself with that, you know what I mean? Like, you just took out a building.
Yeah, when you're just that Oracle, you're like, I can kill Marines and workers really quickly, but also buildings. But double Oracle now going to be moving out. Of course, one of these Oracles is nearly out of energy. An additional rack's going to be coming in. This is going to be 3 racks. So it was, though, 12 racks, 12 gas.
It's the AoE.
See, oh no, these Oracle actually going to be able to target down these Marines. You need 6 Marines for 1 Oracle, but it's like 11 for 2 Oracles. And once you start mixing in that Stalker, it's so much harder for the Terran player.
Your maths are crazy, but yes, I love the Oracles earlier on, kind of providing what the AoE of Colossus might do, just because it's so much DPS. For now, though, ElhayM has got his natural bases, missile turrets up, and what I'm liking, he's getting a second gas. I'd love to see him get a quick +1 to hold this, but for now, PiLiPiLi, he's looking for the win. Blink is on the way, cancels the bunker. This is huge. PiLiPiLi has even got a proxy pylon.
There's so much on the line for PiLiPiLi. His money manager in the chat has said that if he doesn't 3-0 ElhayM, he is out of the team. So everything is offline. PiLiPiLi needs to make this all-in work. He has to go up 2-0. Factory going to be coming down, but Stim is not complete. It's one of those crucial pieces that ElhayM needs that he doesn't have.
Yep, and that orbital CC is low on health. ElhayM is doing everything he can to boot PiLiPiLi off of his non-existent team, but PiLiPiLi is not giving up. I can see Cybert has his fist in his mouth. He's so worried right now. But still, PiLiPiLi is not giving up. Here is the blinks good? The blinks are good, and Stim is still not done. About 10 seconds away. The Oracles themselves just kind of being like, you stalkers, you got this. You don't need my help. GG.
Well played. If somehow, someway, ElhayM could have maybe held that without losing so many SCVs, he would have been all right. He was sitting on 2 orbital commands. He can be down a couple of SCVs, but that attack from PiLiPiLi was executed well enough on just 1 base, and he was like, no, I got 1 base, but I got a proxy Stargate, which was only kind of proxy because of the way the spawns worked out. But yeah, that was brutal.
It's the gamble on that map that you only see on Cactus Valley. Like, there's a couple other 4-player maps. It almost could work, but you see it on Cactus Valley, where it's kind of like, well, for the top left, top right, cool. Bottom left, you're just, I don't even know. Like, it's, like, I've seen that happen where it's kind of awkward. Like, they canceled a Stargate when they scouted, and then they're just kind of, like, walking around like, hopefully I can bring myself back. I've seen it before.
Yeah, it's definitely happened. I don't know when the last time I saw, like, a legitimate cancel, like, meta game, like, mind game in a competitive match.
Not a mind game, but them putting it in the top, like, where it was on that map, and then the players in the bottom left, and they're like, well, if I leave it there, it's just gonna die, and then I'm kind of like, it's just an awkward situation for Protoss players. But guys, currently PiLiPiLi is up 2-0 in this best of 3, and he'll get $10 if he can take the next game. But who possibly, maybe not, but sponsors us and provides us $10, Cybert?
Of course, it is Hitbox TV. You guys, if you're watching on Team Liquid, you may not realize that there are wonderful Hitbox features. Number 1, you can support, you can follow, and even subscribe to Team Gravity's channel here on Hitbox. You get a €3.99 G2A gift card, which is approximately $4.99, so it's like $5 to subscribe to Team Gravity. You get a $5 gift card back. It basically evens up, depending on how the transfer actually works with the currency. But you also get that Hitbox TV chat. So if you guys haven't seen, GIFs will be posted from time to time by moderators. Not anyone can post a GIF, but they'll be posted in chat, and then they'll actually be there occasionally. It's pretty awesome when you actually...
I'm a moderator.
Oh, you could actually do it right now. But as we do have PiLiPiLi and ElhayM also going to be the feature of a poll, which is integrated directly into the chat. So there's a lot of great features over on Hitbox TV, and of course you can check them out on Twitter, twitter.com/HitboxLive. But Drunic, while we're just sort of pimping stuff out, we have got a third component to our casting Archon, if you want to call it that, which I don't know, if you add a third person, it becomes weird. But of course, we got Hawkeye working behind the scenes. He is streaming, he is observing, and he is handling all of the production. So when player cards come in, when you see the intro video, when you see cool zooms happening, that's not me, that's not Drunic, that's Hawkeye. So big thank you to him.
Whoa, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself there. So sometimes I feel like it is me, but no, it is Hawkeye. He's a lovely observer. Like, I will it. My head, it's telepathy. You know what? I first was going for, it's not even a word, but I was going to be like psychiatric, and I was like, no, not the word I was looking for.
That's a word, but that is not the word you're looking for.
I know. Not quite. I don't know where Hawkeye is. Maybe just to him and I, we got this weird sixth sense. But guys, Game 3 is going to be on Coda. This is a PvT. PiLiPiLi is up 2-0. Cybert, any predictions?
I'm really hoping that ElhayM kind of abuses the cliff that you've got. It's kind of like the Reaper cliff, but we've seen so many times, like Medivacs also use that to elevator units. Reaper. But Mass Reaper would be really fun to see. However, as we're going to be spawning into Coda, up in the top left-hand corner, this is the man who needs your cheers. He needs your energy, so send all of your energy to him in the chat. We have from Flipside Tactics. You can send that to
@Drenok if you want to send the energy.
From Flipside Tactics, this is ElhayM.
And his opponent to the bottom right-hand corner from Money. It is the red Protoss player currently up 2-0. Put your hands together for PiLiPiLi. Money. I gotta mention it each time because you said I would.
I don't even know what to say to you. I don't even know what to say to you.
Welcome to Miami. So you'll say, I don't want to say that. So I'll say something.
No.
Yeah.
So anyways, PiLiPiLi has shown us two very different builds in Games 1 and Game 2. ElhayM didn't really get an opportunity to show us anything drastically different in that game number 2. It felt more kind of forced, where he was like, all right, I want to get out this early command center. Oh, I need to deal with oracles. Well, I guess I'm going to go engineering bay, barracks, I need units. So it felt a little bit more forced out of ElhayM. I would certainly like to see something a bit closer to game number 1, where he's got an opportunity to macro up and do exactly what he wants.
Yeah, I completely agree. And part of that is because of PiLiPiLi. As you're mentioning, he's known for, he was aggressive, and then he's kind of sat back and macroed. But that is not what he's doing. He's not allowing any breathing room for ElhayM, and is not allowing to get himself into a safe, comfortable position, which is where PiLiPiLi is comfortable. So that's never good for ElhayM, and it looks like PiLiPiLi is going to either do Stargate again or like the craziest mass blink stalker you ever seen.
Yeah, he hasn't dropped down his cyber core just yet. Okay, there. Well, never mind. All right, it's dropped down. It's, you know, technically...
It's like me. He's only on 1 gas. Oh, he had it on 4. Oh, oh yeah. Oh, never mind.
No worries. No worries about that. We got the first Reaper coming on out, so everything's looking pretty standard for ElhayM. Ooh, the SCV. The SCV. Come on, ElhayM. You got the vision. He sees
the gladiator battle.
He's looking to deny the Nexus, but I don't know, man. He probably doesn't even care about the Nexus.
It's that battle when they know both armies are going to slaughter each other, so they send out their strongest fighters, which happens to be a probe and an SCV, and this SCV is just like completely losing himself here. But there's the Reaper to reinforce ElhayM. Probably is not going to get a kill, but maybe this one probe. At least the natural has been delayed for a considerable amount of time. As Cybert has mentioned, normally it's a 21 Nexus, while right now it is 26.
I mean, it's only 21 Nexus if you're going 17 Cyber Core with 14 gas, and not 14, 15 gas, 18 Cyber Core, which is what it was here.
It could still be 21 Nexus. Actually, it would be a 23 Nexus in that case.
The point is, it's Twilight Council, not the Nexus, which is, of course, the important thing for ElhayM to kind of identify. He is indeed going for that 18cc and adding on the factory after that, but identifying that, okay, my opponent isn't going fast Nexus, he's instead going for something else. Super important to ElhayM. He needs some sort of tools to deal with Mass Blink Stalker.
Oh, PiLiPiLi was so close to denying the scout, but there's the scout. That Reaper's like, guys, we got a problem. He only saw Blinks. He didn't actually see Blink start, but still, you can pretty darn well assume it. And now on ElhayM's side of the map, looks like he's going for the factory. As you've said, maybe a Widow Mine. There's a Widow Mine and the starport. So this is going to be interesting, only because it's a reactor on that barracks. So he's not going to have stim, not going to have combat shields, no marauders for this fight. It's going to come down to micro. Gosh, as a Protoss player, I hate micro now.
You should absolutely love micro, because PiLiPiLi is like, oh, you got Widow Mines? Yeah, that's cute. Once I have Blink, doesn't even matter. We'll have to see if he's able to perform those excellent anti-Widow Mine blinks. Perhaps he will, perhaps he won't. Is the, okay, so the Widow Mine is kind of on the high ground. It's away from where the action is actually happening right now, as the Marines are trying to push back these Stalkers. The Stalkers are not in good enough numbers. Actually, if this proxy pylon goes down, that's going to be a big problem for PiLiPiLi. There's the cancel. That's very awkward.
4 Marines get in, and then there's the other Marine from the bunker like, wait, guys, don't... Oh! That Widow Mine, though, you're mentioning it's kind of out of position. Sadly, it's not. That is the Blink Widow Mine. If PiLiPiLi blinks up, he will be taken down quite assuredly, and there's Marines already prepared there. So, for now, a lot of this aggression has been stopped. But if PiLiPiLi can amass the numbers, maybe he can push through. The problem is, as you mentioned, Cybert, it's awkward. He lost the pylon.
He has to kind of walk Stalkers from the opposite side of the map. He sent down another probe, And keep in mind, he doesn't have a natural nexus. His observer is going to be heading out across the map, so eventually he'll be able to deal with Widow Mines. But actually, oh, if this Widow Mine manages to escape inside of the medevac, no, there's the blink forward. Can they catch the medevac? The answer thus far is no. It should be... Oh! Oh, there's the swing around from the other.
There it is.
Never mind, he got it. All right.
Scratch that. Okay, nope, yeah. And now, sadly, ElhayM is left with a siege tank, and an observer is already on the high ground. It's going to be a little dicey for PiLiPiLi. I think he may be able to make it happen, though. Finally, he's got the proxy pylon, but the mothership core is actually nowhere to be seen. It's actually at home.
Team Money's manager has said one base blink equals a new contract, so I guess PiLiPiLi is going for it. He wants a fresh contract. A Raven is going to be on the way as well. A very interesting choice there for ElhayM. He needs something to deal with these Stalkers, and for now he's going to have to pull SCVs. The Mule also getting in on this fight. His Marines can't quite get that DPS that they want. There's the Stalkers just dancing around as the siege tank does bits of damage here and there.
Yep, ElhayM has now got 2 Stalkers. They're repositioning themselves, and they're actually kind of forcing the Stalkers back into a corner. I meant to say siege tank. He's got 2 siege tanks, but he's now actually forced PiLiPiLi back into a corner. There's enough Marines here to start working on them, but the Stalkers actually sacrificed themselves for that blink in. But remember, PiLiPiLi's now, he's got 2 observers out on ElhayM's side, or at least in his base. He can still link up into the main, which is exactly what ElhayM thinks is happening. And oh,
snipes the tank very nicely. Even the Raven nearly getting sniped. It's got barely any HP left as these Marines trying to corner these Stalkers. They're slowly blinking down onto the low ground to safety. And oh, this is so sad for ElhayM because everything that he tries to kill pretty much just gets blinked away nearly perfectly by PiLiPiLi.
Yep, perfect blinks are going down. I don't know if it's a secret out of this what's coming out of this Raven, but now it's just so good for PiLiPiLi. He's warping in even more Stalkers, and this siege tank is all that is left. Finally, there's the Raven. No hope of anything, and PiLiPiLi is going to walk away with the money, a new contract, but he's still on Team Money.
That was some brutal builds from PiLiPiLi. In those interviews that we talked about previously, he said he was starting to move more towards the macro. Two one-base builds in the series?
Wait, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? Like maybe a year though?
It was a while ago. It was like maybe 6 months ago or something. So he has definitely started to lean back towards the more heavy aggression, cheesy play, if you will. One base blink is certainly a very tough build to deal with if you're not very well versed with dealing with it. So in this case, ElhayM not able to clean that up. Drennick, final thoughts?
Well, I don't want to say in that last game it was the lack of a tech lab, but still, ElhayM decided to go for the reactor, which, well, the thing about it, he would not have had the Marauders, neither stim, combat shields. It's really it just kind of throttles the entire, actually, it's a bad word to use, computer term, but it slows down the entire attack by him, or I guess the entire defense. Yet, in the long run, PiLiPiLi's micro was fantastic, and ElhayM was just, each game, as you said a couple times, trying to get into the mid-game, trying to get into the macro stages, where PiLiPiLi was like, no way, Jose, I ain't letting you get nowhere.
And with a quick 3-0, PiLiPiLi will take our second best of 5. Drennick, we have seen 2 lovely best of 5s. The second one was more lovely if you're a Protoss player who likes aggression, and I love seeing Blink play, so that's okay for me. But we do have one final show match for you guys, one final best of 7 to finish off Team Gravity's Fight Night number 30. Major versus Bong Bong going to be coming up. Major's already in the lobby, so pretty sure he's not going to back out at this point. Guys, we've got a wonderful best of 7 TVZ action coming up just after this. Stay tuned.
See you soon.
Music.